author Wendy McClure of A Wilder Life.
Hello, I'm so glad to be here.
So
I'm nervous.
we're going to have highlights tonight, and I hope you enjoy it.
Thank you.
Tonight we are pleased to welcome Wendy McClure, who will read from The Wilder Life, My Adventures in the Lost World of Little House on the Prairie. After her mother's death, Wendy McClure rediscovered Laura Ingalls Wilder's Little House books. Fascinated with the lifestyle the books evoke, she began a journey to discover Wilder and the culture and the tourism industry that have sprung up around her. Holds an MFA from the Iowa Writers Workshop. She lives in Chicago, where she is senior editor at the children's book publisher Albert Whitman and Company. Let's welcome Wendy McClure.
Thank you very much, and thank you so much for coming. It's really surreal to be back here because I lived here for 6 years as both an undergraduate and a grad student. So I am still deeply intimidated by the Prairie Bookstore. And it's a special night too because we have, if you want to come up near the front at the end, we've got some great Little House sort of exhibit artifacts here brought to us by an expert. There are about, I would say, maybe 20 people in the country who know more about Laura Ingalls Wilder than anyone else in the world. And one of them lives right here, and her name is Sarah Sugutop, and she's going to maybe help out a little bit with the question and answer session afterwards. I was born in 1867 in a log cabin in Wisconsin, and maybe you were too. We lived with our family in the big woods, and then we all traveled in a covered wagon to Indian Territory, where Pa built us another house, out on high land where the prairie grasses swayed, right? We remember the strangest things, the way rabbits and wild hens and snakes raced past the cabin to escape a prairie fire, or else how it felt when the head of a needle slipped through a hole in the thimble and stuck us hard, and we wanted to yell, but we didn't. We moved on to Minnesota, then South Dakota. I swear to God it's true. We were a girl named Laura who lived and grew up and grew old and passed on, and then she became a part of us somehow. She existed fully formed in our heads, her memories swimming around in our brains with our own. Or that's how it felt to me, at least. That's how it still feels sometimes, if I really think about it. I mean, I don't believe in reincarnation, and obviously Laura Ingalls Wilder didn't either, not with her respectable Protestant, singing off key in wooden churches upbringing. It's just how reading the Little House books was for me as a kid. They gave me the uncanny sense that I'd experienced everything she had, that I had nearly drowned in the same flooded creek, endured the grasshopper plague of 1875, and lived through the hard winter. It's a classic childhood delusion, I know, and in my typically dippy way, I tended to believe that the fantasy was mine alone, that this magical past life business was between Laura and me and no one else. Surely I was the only one who had this profound mind meld with her that allowed me to feel her phantom pigtails tugging at my scalp. I had to be the only one who was into the books that much. This is despite the fact that I was just one of millions of kids who discovered Wilder's books in the 1970s and 80s, not too long after the entire 9-book series was released in paperback in 1971. I knew there were poems about her in picture books. I found out there were festivals, pageants, plays, websites, weblogs, authorized spin-off series books, unauthorized spin-off series books, dresses, cookbooks, newsletters, fan fiction, albums, homeschool curriculums, aprons, craft items, figurines, dollhouses. Also, a guy in Minnesota believes she is God. No, really. Did you guys read about this? He was running for the mayor of Minneapolis, and he has a whole religion called Lauraism. And I just wanted to ask, how many people are coming here with a pretty good Little House knowledge? You know when you're ready with books. Okay, good, because this is a little dorky, but I have some trivia, and I have some candy. The little town and the lake near the Ingalls log cabin and the little house in the big woods have the same name. What is the name? Quick! It's time to get Laura and Mary ready for church. They need their pigtails tied with ribbons. Stat! Who gets which color? All right, final question here. Who in the heck were Skip and Barnum? Yes. Thank you. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I love coming back here, and although this has not changed. I mean, Prairie Lights is, but